I'm so excited, you guys, because I'm going to share with you today my favorites and fails. I have in front of me so much skincare, and today is going to be kind of a roundup of all of the things I've been trying out for the last approximately 6 to 8 weeks. Now, in front of me is not just favorites. Today I actually have all kinds of categories. I have cleansers, I have serums and mists and sunscreens and moisturizers and vitamin C and eye creams, tools. I have all kinds of things to share with you, and in almost every single category I have a favorite and I also have a fail. So I want to get right into it because this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. If you're new here, my name is Penny. I'm a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon. I am super excited that you're here. I do hope that you will follow me here. I hope you'll consider subscribing. I also hope you'll follow me over on Instagram, and I am inviting you to join my private Facebook group. We have passed 17,000 members over there, and we talk skincare all day long. I share so much over there, and I get into the conversations that if you're on Facebook, do consider joining. It's a really, really kind group of people, and we'd love to have you. So let's get into this, you guys. Okay, we're gonna start. I'm gonna kind of go through the way that we would go through a skincare routine, and I have a favorite in the cleanser category. I've had this one for a long time, and I've used it for a really long time, but I've been pulling it out more lately, mostly because it's kind of like a sensory experience, and it is the Lumion. This is the Brightening cleanser. Now, this cleanser has glutathione in it, which is what originally drew me to this cleanser. And it is a really, really nice, refreshing cleanser. I find that I can use this at night. And what I do at night right now, I'm not doing a double cleanse. I just spend some extra time with this cleanser at night and really work it into the skin. And I get a really great cleanse, but also it is fragranced, and it's one of those times where it's such a lovely citrus scent that it is an experience to do the cleanse. It's a really, really pleasant experience, and I love that it has glutathione in there. And because I'm taking a little bit more time with my cleanse, I feel like I'm giving some of those active ingredients an actual opportunity to work. It is a gel, so I do get a little bit of a foam, but not a crazy foam, and it does not leave me dry or tight in any way. I also use this in the morning, so I'm able to use it morning and night and not feel stripped or tight or dry or anything, and just beautifully cleansed. So that is my first favorite, and that's a cleanser. When we move into, we're gonna go kind of by consistency, kind of how you would layer your skincare. We're gonna move into mists. This last month, I really got into hypochlorous acid. Now, hypochlorous acid is a antimicrobial, antibacterial, fantastic for acne. If you have acne, it's great for any inflammatory condition. It's fantastic against viruses. So I got the Lumion, and this is just a mist that is really, really wonderful. And it rescued my skin a few times from some little breakouts, and I just really, really love it. I think that if you have acne, if you have any kind of an inflammatory condition, this could be your very best friend. Now, I do also have it actually from Skin Smart, and I like this one too. It's really, really good. This is kind of the lesser expensive option. And while I do think that this one maybe has a little bit of an edge ingredients wise, they're both fantastic. And I've used them both with great success when I had a breakout or something like that. So hypochlorous acid is the favorite, the ingredient hypochlorous acid. Now I do have it in a serum form. I'm going to share that with you because it actually reminds me very much of another product that I've loved for many years. And I'm going to get to that. So moving on to serums. Now, I don't have any fails in the cleansers and the mists category. In the serum category though, I do have both favorites and I also have fails. You guys know, if you've been here for a little while, that I am completely enamored with DNA repair enzymes. I've talked about it a bunch in the last 2 months, and basically what DNA repair enzymes are, they're the ability for this enzyme that is either light activated or it's from the microbiome of your skin, and some of them come from plankton, and they basically are able to physically go in and repair the DNA in our skin. And the repair that they're doing is against old UV damage. So for those of us who are, 35 plus, 45 plus, likelihood is that we have some old sun damage. I know I do. That is part of the reason why I battle hyperpigmentation every single day. DNA repair enzymes can actually physically help to alleviate that old damage, which is pretty exciting because, you know, we're able to use antioxidants to help us, you know, combat damage in the moment. And of course, we use sunscreen to also help block that damage in the moment. But DNA repair enzymes actually can go backwards and help to repair the damage that already happened. So I'm completely enamored with them. Okay. So now that we have that, I went crazy ordering DNA repair enzymes. I mean, I ordered it in every form you could imagine, from every brand you could imagine. And I have a favorite and I have a couple fails. So we'll start with the favorite, actually. My favorite, and you can tell by how much I've used of it, is by Photozyme. So this is their DNA repair enzyme serum. This is probably, of all of the DNA repair enzyme products that I picked up, this one and one other are my favorites. I find that the consistency of this is kind of a thicker lotion type of serum, but it doesn't irritate my skin. It turns right into a very thin consistency, so it soaks right into my skin. I can wear it morning and night with no irritation. It spreads quite easily, so I'm able to have a little bit go a long way. So I'm able to get it on my face. I absolutely want it on my neck, my décolleté, on my hands. I'm putting it up my wrists because, as someone who spent a little bit too much time in the sun in my 20s, and as a fair-skinned person, I have plenty of sun damage that I need to correct. So that's definitely my favorite. My fail, on the other hand, is by Neova. Now, this brand is not bad. I have some products from them that actually are favorites, but this is Neova's DNA Repair Serum. Now, you may like this serum. There's nothing wrong with it other than the fact that my skin in particular did not like it. It has camphor in it, which is probably in there for a reason, for helping with barrier disruption so that you can get the actual they're encapsulated in liposomes, the DNA repair enzymes. I know that the formulation is purposeful. I get that. It just did not agree with my skin. I would wear it and I would end up breaking out, and then I would put it aside, trying to kind of suss out what was causing the irritations in my skin, the breakouts in my skin. And every time I pulled this back out and put it into the routine, I would wake up with a splattering of pimples / possible allergic reaction. So this one is definitely a fail for me because I think that some of the ingredients in there are questionable for probably a lot of people as far as being reactive, sensitive skin, and that kind of thing. So this one is my fail. If you've tried this and you love it, please comment below, because obviously everybody's skin is individual. This one just happened to be a fail for me. Next up is going to be, let's go on to eyes, because we're going to talk a little bit more about DNA repair enzymes in the eye category. I actually have been testing out several eye creams because I really wanted to find an eye cream that targets specific conditions. I wanted to find one that targets dark circles and puffiness and fine lines. And I feel like over the years, I've definitely told people that I'm not a huge eye cream fan. And it's true. I'm one of those people that thinks, you know, a lot of our facial moisturizers are just fine under our eyes, unless the eye cream actually has specific ingredients that are able to target some of those concerns, because those are concerns of mine, the dark circles and the puffiness and, you know, the fine lines, etc. So I've been testing out some eye creams, and 2 of them are favorites and 2 of them are fails. So let's start with a favorite. This one is from a line that I'm pretty much obsessed with, and it's called Dermaquest. You guys probably heard about this if you watched my amazing alternatives to expensive products video. The Dermaquest line is this. That's how I found the Dermaquest line, because one of the moisturizers that is in my favorites is so much like an expensive moisturizer that I was in love with years ago that I just went down the Dermaquest rabbit hole. And lo and behold, they have so many amazing products in this line. And they have an eye cream called Eye Bright. Now, this one is extremely silky. My cat got me, by the way. Extremely silky. In fact, I think that that's part of what I love about Dermaquest. The texture of the products in Dermaquest is top notch. They have nailed the texture of products. I feel like almost everything that I try, I'm immediately just loving the texture, the moisturizers, the sunscreens, the eye cream. So when I wear this eye cream, it leaves this slight sheen under my eyes that is not tacky or sticky or greasy looking. It's this nice, beautiful, hydrated sheen. And then beyond that, it has in it some ingredients that I'm going to put up on the screen that are really, really helpful for all of those things that I was telling you about. So they're going to be helpful for dark circles and hyperpigmentation and just brightening up that under eye area. The other thing about this one, you guys, is it comes in an airtight package with a pump, which I really do like quite a bit. And you're able to actually do half a pump. You don't have to pump all the way down. And that's really nice because the very first time that I used this, I used an entire pump and it was way too much. Way, way, way too much. You just don't need that much of this product for both under eyes. And I love that you can kind of control really, really easily how much you use so that you actually get a lot out of your eye cream. So this one is one that I'm really, really enjoying very much. The other one that I am loving this month so far is by Glytone. So these are the two that I end up reaching for often. And this one has caffeine, and I just really, really like Glytone as it has just a little squeezy, so you can also control the amount that you want to use. I'm also going to put the ingredients of this one up on the screen so that you can see it, but what drew me to this one is the highlighted ingredient of caffeine, because that's going to help with the puffiness, it's going to help with the dark circles and all of that stuff because it's helping with circulation and that kind of thing. So this was another one that I really, really like. This one's a little bit more of a balm. I'll show you. Kind of like a balm cream here. Like this. And this one, again, you do not need a ton. And it's definitely a little bit more balmy than the Dermaquest. You don't need a lot of this one either. And I would say that this one soaks into the skin just a little bit more, doesn't leave as much of a sheen under the eyes. So if that's not your cup of tea, this one just dries down and your skin just looks like skin. It looks like a little bit hydrated, a little bit firmed because it just the action of the eye cream drying down. And then that's it. It kind of goes away. But I know that that caffeine is in there doing a little bit of good as far as circulation is concerned. So I love it for that. Now let's talk about the two that are fails. And these were big fat fails for me because I bought all this stuff myself. First one's going to be by Neova. So you are going to see this is the other thing from that brand that was a fail, that is DNA repair enzymes. And I kind of alluded to this, I don't know, a month ago or so. I was testing it. I gave it several opportunities, but it is their illuminating eye serum. Now, here's the deal with this one, you guys. It burns under the eyes. I could not get it to not burn under my eyes. I tried to use it on bare skin in the morning. I tried to use it at night after I put on everything. I tried to use it, you know, in the evening before I put on anything. You know, I tried many, many different ways to see if it was kind of reacting with something else I was using, and that's why I was getting the burn. And I mean, like, inflamed. I felt like, wow, whatever is in here that my skin just does not like, it's especially terrible around my eyes. So this one was unfortunately a big fail for me, and it is their illuminating eye serum, DNA repair plus copper peptides. So honestly, those ingredients together are like a dream to have, you know, for helping with elastin, helping with collagen production, helping to repair old sun damage, which incidentally, I have a ton of that under my eyes. That's one of the places that I find I get a lot of hyperpigmentation. So I had super duper high hopes for this, thinking that, oh my gosh, if I could alleviate some of that old sun damage and get rid of some of that hyperpigmentation beyond all of the things I already do to get rid of the hyperpigmentation, like pigment inhibitors, etc., that would be amazing. But it just didn't work for me. So the next one and the last eye cream that is unfortunately a fail is by Isdin. And I mentioned this in the Facebook group, and I told everybody there that I would report back. And here I am, and it is unfortunately a fail. This is the Isdin K-Ox. Now, the reason why I was drawn to this eye cream, you guys, is because it has vitamin K oxide in it. So vitamin K is one of the vitamins that I like to look for in an under eye cream, and it will help with the under eye circles due to vascularity. That's the idea of vitamin K when we're talking about it in an eye cream. So I picked this up with really, really high hopes that perhaps I might even layer it with another one, something like that, because I would get that vitamin K in there. And this was not inexpensive. It was a really, really expensive eye cream, which goes against usually the, my own advice about eye creams, but I was super intrigued by the vitamin K. So I got it. And first of all, the packaging is nice. The packaging is absolutely nice. Although this tip doesn't get cool or anything. So in that respect, it's kind of a dud, because I think there's no point in putting the applicator up against your skin every day, and if there's no reason for it, if it doesn't get cool or anything like that. I would rather have a pump that's airtight, or even a squeezy tube or something like that. But if it's gonna have an applicator like this, it should have a purpose. Like, why put it up against your skin if it doesn't even get cool? So there was that was kind of funky, but also it just did not do anything. It just didn't do anything in the moment. It didn't feel like it hydrated. It didn't feel like it did any kind of brightening. I mean, I'm talking about superficial brightening, of course. And I just felt like my under eyes actually looked a little bit worse when I was wearing this, like under my makeup and stuff. But then beyond that, it has a fragrance, and I'm not that, I don't avoid fragrance like I used to. I actually don't have much of a sensitivity. I think that that's very, very individual. And if fragrance bothers you, you certainly should avoid it, and always look in an ingredient deck to see if things contain fragrance. But, I'm not, it's not on my naughty list like it used to be, but the fragrance in here is pretty overt. Isdin kind of has some strong fragrances. And for me in this eye cream, because it did nothing for me, and then you add in the fragrance, it kind of all around just was a big fat fail, especially because it was so expensive. It was almost $100. So yeah, this was an expensive purchase that turned out to be a fail. So that is from Isdin. Now let's move on, you guys, to moisturizers. And this was probably, this and a tool were some of the most exciting finds of the last 2 months. And these are both by Dermaquest, and they are moisturizers. I actually have a third one, and I just don't have it in front of me. But you guys, if you didn't watch my amazing alternatives to expensive products, I think it was the second one. Many years ago, I tested out and tried a product from 3Lab called Anti-Aging Cream. It was seriously so amazing. I had a huge sample, and I used it for several weeks, and I fell in love with it. I went to go buy it, and it was $700, and I was like, ouch, I mean, who's spending $700 on a face cream, right? And so I've kind of like dreamt about that face cream for years, trying to find, really trying to dupe it out myself. And I never found anything that had the right consistency. I found things that kind of look like the ingredients might match a little bit, not match, but come close, but they never had the right consistency. Dermaquest has the right consistency. So the Delicate Daily Moisturizer is definitely a very similar texture. It is like a butter, you guys. It really is like this buttery texture that when I wear it under makeup, I just noticed that my makeup goes on and looks really prettier. Now, the Delicate Daily Moisturizer obviously has a scent to it. So I tested out several other of the moisturizers from Dermaquest, and 2 others are in a rotation. And one of them is the Nourishing Peptide Moisturizer, which I love that one too. It's fantastic. It's very thick, has peptides in it, and it has a very similar consistency. And then the other favorite that is neck and neck with this Delicate Daily Moisturizer is the Essential Moisturizer. Now this one is really cool, you guys, because it contains blue light protection, which I spend a lot of time looking at a computer screen, looking at my phone. And so I kind of like the idea. I do not think that blue light protection is a gimmick. I think that it's a real thing. I think that if you have darker skin tone and you fight hyperpigmentation, you really want to consider trying to get some blue light protection on board, because visible light is known to actually exacerbate hyperpigmentation in darker skin tones. So it's really actually pretty important if we can get that on board, especially if we can get it on board in something that we like anyway. This has the most beautiful consistency. If you have normal or normal to dry skin, you might love this. This is that same buttery consistency, but you guys, I wear this, and when I put it on over a serum but under my makeup, I feel like every time I use the Essential Moisturizer or the Delicate Daily, both of those are good, but the Essential Moisturizer has kind of been my go-to. I'm wearing it today under my foundation, and I just feel like my foundation is smoothed out. Like I'm able to put on my foundation and there's zero patchiness, and nothing looks cakey. It just really helps the whole process along. Not to mention, I find that the ingredient deck is fantastic, and I am pretty obsessed with Dermaquest as a line. I've been kind of collecting more and more from the line because I have yet to have anything from the line that I disliked. Those are my moisturizer favorites this month. I actually don't have a moisturizer fail because all I've been using is the Dermaquest. So there's that. Now, when we move on to sunscreen, I have been testing tons and tons of sunscreen because we're moving into summer. So I definitely have some favorites in the sunscreen world here. Now, you probably know this one because I've mentioned this one so many times on very many platforms. I've mentioned this all over the place for the last 2 months, and it's the Neova Smart Silk. Now, this one, you guys, has the DNA repair enzymes in it. I still recommend that you wear an antioxidant like vitamin C, which I do have some favorites and fails in the vitamin C department also. But this one comes in a tube with a pump. I love the packaging of this one, but beyond that, it looks like it's gonna be crazy yellow, right? But it's not. It honestly spreads into your skin and it disappears. And what I like about that actually is that I feel like probably a lot of people could wear this without worrying about white cast or, any of that kind of thing. It does contain plankton. It contains the DNA repair enzyme that is light activated and going to go to work when it sees visible light, helping to repair your DNA from old UV damage. So this one is definitely top of the list, and it kind of fights for face time with this next one, and that is the Dermaquest Sheer Zinc. So this one I love for multiple reasons. First of all, this is in the color Nude. It comes in Nude, Sunkissed, and Tan. And the only one that I haven't looked at in real life is the Tan. And what I love about this one is that it has so many of the things in it that I look for in a sunscreen. It has iron oxides, which are going to help with visible light protection. And it's tinted. It's a beautiful sheer tint. And it's SPF 30 and it's all zinc. So it's just a sheer zinc. This is it. Very neutral undertone, and it kind of disappears. You see, it's just really, really a pretty consistency. And I do think that you could wear it normal, combo. I think oily could wear this one. I definitely think if you were dry, you could wear this one over a moisturizer. It's absolutely extremely versatile, but it leaves the skin just really pretty. It's a great, great sunscreen. And I'm super excited about it because as I kind of take care of my skin better and better, I find that those kind of products end up being all I have to wear in the summer. And yes, some of my hyperpigmentation, some of my freckles and that kind of thing still shine through, but that's okay. I'm okay with a little bit of real skin just shining through, especially when the skin looks, hydrated and it looks dewy and it looks a little bit evened out. That's what those sunscreens do for me. The last sunscreen I want to share with you is by Isdin. Now, I have to definitely preface this with the fact that this is also fragranced. Isdin just does that. They fragrance their products. At least everything that I've tried from the line is unfortunately fragranced. However, if you can set that aside, this sunscreen is fantastic. This is their Eryfotona actinica. Now it comes in tinted and it comes in untinted, and they are very much on opposite sides of the spectrum as far as white cast, no white cast. These are SPF 50 and these contain DNA repair enzymes, which is pretty awesome. This is probably one of the pioneers as far as sunscreen for reparative, DNA reparative, advancement. So I have them both. This one has the consistency of kind of like a sheer velvet almost. And it is also just zinc oxide. It is 10.7 and 11%. So it's straight up zinc. I'm going to show you the tint so that you get an idea, because the tint is relatively tan in my opinion. So if you'll see, that's the tint and that's the untinted. What I've done, and I've done this for years with this sunscreen, is I mix them all year long. I actually am never really dark enough just to wear the tan straight up, which is kind of cool because that means if you have darker skin, this may really work for you. No white cast, it definitely is tinted, but if you have lighter skin and you want to try this, you may want to mix them, and you can mix it to customize however dark you want it to be, because you can use more of the non-tinted. The non-tinted definitely has a tiny bit of a white cast if you wear it alone. So I actually can't wear either one of them all by themselves. I feel like the one that's not tinted leaves me a little bit with a tiny bit of a very sheer, pretty light cast. And the tinted one leaves me just a little bit too dark. So I just custom mix them all year long to whatever my skin is at that moment. Now, the reason why I pulled these out is because there is a little bit more coverage in this. It's almost like wearing a foundation. And like I said, it's kind of like a velvet. It starts out and it looks a little bit shiny, but as it dries down, it definitely just dries into this beautiful skin-like finish. And I do love that this has the DNA repair in there, and Isdin is definitely well known for that and revered for that. This was actually recommended to me a few years ago before I did a big sunscreen video, probably 3 years ago. And so I've been repurchasing it every single year since. So that is the Isdin Eryfotona Ageless Ultra Light Emulsion SPF 50, and they're both zinc. Now, we're going to talk about vitamin C, you guys. I also was testing a bunch of vitamin C for the last couple of months, several months, and I have two to share that I really, really love, and then I have one fail. The one that I think is fantastic is by Dermalure. Now, I got this one actually on the recommendation of my friend Andrew several months ago, and I purchased it. This is in the 20%. This is an L-ascorbic acid, ferulic acid, and glutathione mix. Now, typically what you will see in a lot of these L-ascorbic acid concoctions is you'll see L-ascorbic acid, ferulic, and vitamin E. Well, there are people that are sensitive to vitamin E, and vitamin E is in there in the mix as an antioxidant to help stabilize the L-ascorbic acid. This one sits at a pH just under 2, so it's going to be extremely potent as far as being able to penetrate the skin and get in there and do some good work with this L-ascorbic acid. I think that this is one of the coolest affordable vitamin C's on the market. You know, if you've been here for a little while, that I'm obsessed with glutathione. I mean, I've been talking about that for so long now. And the fact that a vitamin C concoction is out that is the L-ascorbic acid at the right pH, at the right percentage, with the ferulic acid, which is a fantastic antioxidant in its own right, and then it has glutathione, sold. I think it's fantastic. Now, I have a sensitivity to L-ascorbic acid. I find that if I use it too often, I get pink. I just get very pink. So this has been what I use on my décolleté. And I love that this is a huge bottle. This is like a 2-ounce bottle. So I am able to spread this very big area. I get absolutely no irritation. And I know that I'm getting all the benefits of that L-ascorbic acid, which is the active form of vitamin C that's going to go to work in your skin and help to give you a glow, you know, help with hyperpigmentation. It's definitely obviously an antioxidant that's going to help boost your sun protection by fighting off free radicals, oxidative stresses, all of that kind of stuff. So that's what I've been using this one for, is on my décolleté. And I think it's a really, really excellent option as far as L-ascorbic acid is concerned. Now, the other one that I discovered that I'm really, really excited about is by Naturium. Now, this is their vitamin C face oil. The reason why I'm excited about this, you guys, is I've been in search of a tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate vitamin C alternative to Truth treatments since I tried Truth treatments a couple years ago. Now, this is not identical to Truth treatments. I don't even think it's a dupe, but what we do have here is a very fantastic tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate, or THD, vitamin C option. It's extremely affordable. The texture of it is beautiful. It is an oil because THD is an oil-based, fat-based vitamin C, but it's clear and it's fragrance-free and it is just lovely. So you can see it's not crazy thick. In fact, I would say that this one is thinner than, I have it on the wrong way. I would say that this one is thinner than Truth Treatments. It actually has a thinner consistency than the Truth Treatments. And the other thing that you can do with this one, just like you can do with Truth Treatments, is you can spray a fulvic acid mist on your face before you use this one, or you can mix this one in the palm of your hand with a fulvic acid spray, which again, if you guys have been here for a little while, you know that fulvic acid has been the top of my list forever also. And I would be including it in this favorites if I haven't talked about it ad nauseum, so everybody's probably sick of it. But you could definitely kind of replicate that Truth Treatments system with something like this and a fulvic acid spray. You don't have to spend a ton of money on that, and get yourself a fantastic THD vitamin C and fulvic for the face. Beautiful. If you have normal to dry or dry skin, I tell you what, THD is just an awesome vitamin C option. It really, really is. It is just, it induces a glow. It gives you a little bit of hydration. It definitely is soothing. It is not irritating, and THD is stable. So it's a stable derivative of vitamin C. So you don't have to worry about shelf life. You don't have to worry about pH. You also don't have to worry about whether or not you can mix it with your copper peptides, because THD plays friendly with copper peptides. So you can put it in your routine in the morning and at night, however you want to do. So THD definitely has a lot of pros, and I'm super excited to have found one that is in great packaging and is affordable. So that was an awesome, awesome find that I'm super excited to share with you guys. The last vitamin C that I got that I've used a few times, and I really like the consistency of this one, but unfortunately the fragrance is so strong in a really weird perfumey way that I'm gonna have to use this up somewhere else on my body, and it is by La Roche-Posay. This one actually had pretty good reviews too, you guys. This is their 10%, let's see, what's it called? Dermatological Anti-Wrinkle Concentrate, Vitamin C 10%. And it comes in, the packaging is nice. It comes like this. Seriously, it is really a silky lotion feeling. I could see why people would like this as far as the texture is concerned, because it's very, like I said, silky. It just goes on and soaks into your skin and then disappears. It's definitely not irritating or anything like that, but it's extremely fragranced. And it's one of those fragrances that's not necessarily, I mean, I could see where you could hate this fragrance. I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. And it doesn't go away. So when you're wearing it, like, and you move your head or something, you all day long, I would get kind of a little whiff of this fragrance that I don't necessarily love. And so for that, like I said before, I'm not opposed to fragrance necessarily, but what I don't like is when brands overwhelm us with fragrance. If it's just a little bit of fragrance, or if the fragrance dissipates and you're not sensitive to fragrance and you don't mind it, or you just get the fragrance in a small dose when you're washing or something like that, that to me seems okay. When it will not go away and it's overwhelming you and that's all you can smell all day, I don't want to think about my vitamin C all day long. I just don't. So this unfortunately was a fail from La Roche-Posay, a brand that I normally love. I mean, I really do love this brand, but this was a fail. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get through this one. Okay, we're almost to the end here, you guys. I'm going to share a couple of rando things that are top of my list for sure. First thing is this hair dryer. This was something that I shared in my affordable alternatives video. I'm going to link those videos in the description box. If you missed them, they're really fun. They're a great way to, check out some expensive products and then see some amazing alternatives to those expensive products. Some of the things that I found in these last two videos are 100% the same ingredient deck. So that's kind of exciting and worth just looking at. This was something that I found as an alternative to an expensive version of this that I also own, and that's the Amika It looks exactly like this, only it's black, and it's $100. Now this one is in the low 40s, and I love it. I absolutely think that it works better than the Amica because it's not quite as heavy. It is heavier than another version I have. I've tested several, but it's not quite as heavy. But here's the thing, you guys. I don't enjoy washing and doing my hair. I don't enjoy that at all. I have extensions. I have a lot of hair. It takes a long time. It's one of those things that is kind of daunting. And so you're like, ugh, you know, every time you have to do it. This makes it so easy that I literally don't mind washing and doing my hair. It turns out every single time I feel like my hair turns out beautifully. It really is one of those game-changing tools for sure. If you hate blow drying your hair, and even it doesn't have to be long. I have heard from people after I talked about this, I've heard from people that said, I have medium length hair or I have shoulder length hair, and I love that tool too. It just makes it super easy. You don't have to have a brush and a dryer. I haven't pulled out my actual hair dryer since I started using these brushes. So this has been a huge game changer. The other thing, I actually still use this even if I'm going to curl my hair, because if you're like me, I have frizzy hair. And so really what would be the best thing is to flat iron my hair and then curl it. If I wanted to get like the most perfect, you know, cuticle laid down and everything, well, that's way too hard on your hair. It just is way too hard. And it's a lot, it's very, very time consuming because then you're blow drying your hair, flat ironing and curling. So this takes the blow drying and the flat ironing, smooths out my hair, gets rid of the frizz, you know, seals down cuticle, everything looks good. And then I go in and I curl my hair and I feel like I just get more of that kind of lived in look that isn't frizzy. It's more like I had the kind of hair that this creates naturally, which I think is pretty cool. So that is a huge, huge favorite. Next thing, there's only two more things, you guys. Next thing is going to be these ice globes. And the reason why these are on a favorites is because actually these were in another one of those alternative videos because I said that these were a fantastic alternative to Fresh Air ice globes. I own the Fresh Air ice globes. I think they're fantastic. I definitely like these better, and they were a fraction of the cost. The reason I like these better is because of the handles. I just think the handles put it over the top. That makes them great. The reason why they're in this favorites video is because I started doing a radio frequency treatment just under my eyes for a treatment zone right here. And immediately after I would finish one side, I would go in with an ice globe for about a minute to a minute and a half and completely cool the zone. And no question, I shared this in my Facebook group, and then other people tried it out with their respective radio frequency devices. So whether it's Tripolar Stop X Rose, which comes highly recommended by several people in my Facebook group, or if it's the Newa radio frequency at home device, either one, people were like, oh my God, I do see a difference. I see a difference in the puffiness. I see a difference. It's an instant gratification kind of little treatment that you can do to wherever you want to, but I've been doing it under my eyes. And I'm super, super excited about it. It's actually made me want to pick up radio frequency more often because I see this result. Now, I'm not saying that that result is then going to be long-term. You obviously have to put the time in and be consistent with these at-home devices before they're going to yield any kind of long-term results. But to get an instant gratification, especially when we're talking about the eye area, I just think that that's super cool. I do have to say that I'm not saying that the radio frequency device makers tell you to go under the eye. I'm going kind of ocular bone area here, but you know, definitely follow their instructions, etc. This is just something that I've been testing out and really, really enjoying. And these were key. And they're not expensive. So it was this kind of 1-2 punch with that modality, and then a simple, you could use a Ziploc bag and ice. I mean, let's be real. You definitely could just ice the area. If you want to try that technique and you don't have these, of course you could do that. These are just really ergonomically nice to use. They're easy. They stay cold just long enough to do a nice little treatment and you're good to go. So those are a huge favorite. Last thing is going to be my self tanner. I got to share this because it's time to be self-tanning again. And this is my favorite, hands down favorite. It's by Norvelle. It's their Venetian. This one is brown, and it kind of is almost like a purple brown. This is the color. It's kind of gotten out onto the thing. The reason why I like to have it in a color for me personally is that it gives me a guide. I always do my self-tan with a mitt, and I love a mousse because I feel like I can spread it really well. I don't get streaks. The end result is really, really nice. I love this one because it doesn't turn me orange in any way. It is the most beautiful, just light brown shade, light to medium brown shade. And of course you could layer it up and get more color, but I'm a very light person. So just, I'll do this maybe once a week, just to have a little bit of color going into spring and going into summer. It's awesome. And I think one of these will probably last me, I don't know if I'll get through the entire summer, but there's no way I'm going to need more than 2 of these for the entire summer into fall season, because it goes a long way. You don't need a ton of pumps to do each extremity, etc. But I do find that no streaks, you get a great color. The smell is minimal, if anything, and it's just, and it dries down and you're not tacky, which I also really like. Because if you're somebody who likes to self-tan at night and then go to bed, that's the worst, is to feel like you're sticky and then you're going to get your sheets all self-tanned. But then on the flip side, if you like to self-tan during the day, and so you're going to put on clothes, you also don't want to be sticky. So this one is really, really nice for that. The very last thing I'm going to say, you guys, is another huge favorite for me has just been you guys. It has been the people in my Facebook group, and it has been the people here on these platforms. It has been the people that have joined me on Clubhouse, and the people following along on Instagram who joined my live with Rachel, the beauty professor. And also, I want to say thank you. I shared here in the community tab that I did my neck. I got a neck lift, and I'm going to share, I'm going to share the entire process of everything that I did to my neck, to my face, all of that kind of stuff in my Facebook group. I will share it here on YouTube if there's enough interest in it, but I'm definitely talking about it over there. We've been talking about it for actually a little while now. Everybody there has kind of known, but I've really been diving into the details about my surgery, etc. It was about a month ago, and I've just really been thankful for the response because, I'm going to be 48 years old this year, and, nobody wants to feel like they're ashamed of doing something or whatever. And for the most part, everybody's been really, really lovely and wonderful, and I'm thankful for that. So that is definitely a favorite this month as well. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful week. I hope that this was a fun video for you to watch. I do hope you'll say hello in the comments and follow me on all the other social platforms, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.